Yes, BlitzBlank is a traditional commercial cleaning company that has been around for almost 90 years. And I have been with the company for 10 years now and am mainly responsible for innovation and digitalization at BlitzBlank, among other things. Yes, I think we've been a ToolSense partner for almost 4 years now. We started out with classic machine management, which means we fitted our larger machines with a ToolSense module so that we know how long they have been running, whether they are running, whether they are broken. And so for the last 4 years, we have actually had an ever-growing, I would say, partnership. And now we also use ToolSense for our complete car fleet tracking. So basically, tracking vehicles is very important in our industry. We have around 100 vehicles in our fleet. Why is it so important? Because we have to optimize routes. Our property managers are on the road all day. It's very important to know where they are. It is also very important to know, for example, in the case of winter service vehicles, whether they have been to the properties and to prove this to the customer. And we used to have a solution that was permanently installed in the car, cost around 2,000 to 2,500 euros per month, depending on the size of the fleet. And there was, of course, the issue of installation and removal. In the course of our partnership with ToolSense, we then looked around for alternative products and came up with this good idea with ToolSense. We found a solution via the diagnostic interface of the car tracker, where we can swap cars relatively quickly and have the same quality at a lower cost. In other words, by and large, we have now saved around 1,000 euros per month by switching to this solution, and this solution is also in the same machine management system as everything else. So it works quite well for us. One issue, of course, is that if it is permanently installed, manipulation is not so easy. Of course, we had problems at the beginning in that some trackers were no longer plugged in, but we now have this under control with various technical aids. The changeover was otherwise relatively easy in terms of the system, as only a few people have access to the system. So I think the most important thing is all this geofencing, which means we need to know, especially for green spaces and winter maintenance, when was our vehicle and where is our employee. And that is one of the main reasons why we use a tracking system. The second reason, of course, is how can we optimize routes. We are very sustainable, so it is important for us to use as little fuel, gasoline, and energy as possible. So it's incredibly important to recognize employee behavior and say, okay, you could save yourself 20 kilometers a day if you optimize your routes. The second, of course, is that we always know where our cars are or aren't parked. So the retrievability of cars is also sometimes quite funny. As far as vehicle tracking is concerned, a very big requirement is electronic vehicle tracking, because we still work semi-electronically. In other words, we don't have an electronic logbook that records all of our journeys and can transmit them to the tax office. This transmission is becoming more and more important because the tax office is currently looking very closely at whether or not benefits in kind are being paid, and there has to be consistent documentation of mileage and journeys. This is actually our most important requirement at the moment, which we are currently implementing. So number one, of course, is the cost saving. So 1,000 euros a month is not so little. Number two, we now have an integrated system, and that's why we chose ToolSense, because we already had interfaces before. This means that we manage the devices and vehicles in our ERP system and can import them directly into ToolSense. And the third thing, and this is also interesting, is that we now equip all our devices with either a tracker or a Bluetooth tag. And the advantage is that the GPS tracker in the car recognizes when an equipped device enters this car, and I immediately have a record of where my devices go and can thus make a fully automatic machine fleet management. This has already brought us back some vacuum cleaners. Finally, I would like to say thank you to all of you. We have become quite a good team. We have grown together well. And what is important for me as the person responsible for digitalization for our company is that I always find someone who is willing to listen at ToolSense, and I can always pass on my ideas. And if they are good, they are also planned in and implemented accordingly. So thank you again, and thank you for the next 10 years. Very good.